Welcome back to the Missing 411 podcast. Tonight, we're not just discussing vanishings. We're confronting the entities that seek to silence the truth about them. We're moving far beyond the physical boundaries of the wilderness and focusing on the financial battlefield, the corporate darkness that actively attempts to bury our investigations. It's a fight for documentation, a struggle just to keep the evidence flowing and the camera rolling. This is the part of the story most of you never hear. The ceaseless pressure applied by those who prefer the pattern of unexplained disappearances remain just that, unexplained. We've weathered storms in the field, but this corporate siege has been one of the most insidious threats to the core mission of Missing 411. We must persevere because the victims' families deserve answers and the public deserves the facts. Our most recent film, Missing 411, the UFO Connection, launched in late 2022, and the response was, frankly, astonishing. It was the most successful documentary we've ever produced, generating an overwhelmingly positive and supportive reaction. The film resonated because it fearlessly connected the dots between some of the most baffling vanishings and high strangeness phenomena. It solidified the terrifying hypothesis that something non-terrestrial or dimensional is at play in these cases. But as the money started to flow, the money intended to fund more research, that's when the external forces moved in. The success became a magnet for greed, and our mission became collateral damage in a corporate chess game. The sheer volume of feedback proved we were on the right track, yet put a massive target on our backs. The corporate drama began when our previous, stable distributor was sold to a much larger, publicly traded entity, Chicken Soup for the Soul. This wasn't a partnership. It was an acquisition that quickly led to an outright hostile environment. We were legally owed monthly royalty payments from the vast number of people watching our films. Initially, a couple of payments trickled in, creating a false sense of security. But then, without warning or justification, the payments abruptly stopped, violating every clause in our agreement. This wasn't just a failure to pay. It was a deliberate corporate action designed to financially paralyze a documentary series they clearly did not understand or respect. The financial damage was catastrophic. We lost 10 agonizing months of earned royalties, income that should have fueled the investigation. The figures we lost were staggering, forcing us to halt all pre-production work on our next film. Making a documentary with the high standards we maintain requires hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're talking about meticulous sound, leveling so every witness's voice is clear, specialized colorization to ensure archival footage is usable, and massive travel expenses to interview key witnesses in remote locations. That money, which was meant to keep the truth machine running, vanished entirely. It was a serious, calculated blow aimed squarely at preventing us from continuing the Missing 411 work. We faced a crisis point. Nearly 100 other content providers in the same situation chose to sue Chicken Soup for the Soul, a legal path that would have cost us upwards of $50,000 just to retain an attorney. With 10 months of lost revenue, that money was simply unavailable, and the corporation knew it. Instead of suing, we chose a different, almost unheard-of strategy. We went to them with a stark offer. Forget the massive debt you owe us, the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just give us the legal rights and titles to our films back. It was a risky gamble, sacrificing the past income for control over the future. That strategy paid off. I was the only person, the sole content provider, who chose that path, and, consequently, I am the only one who has reclaimed the rights back to the films. This was a victory of principle, but it left us in a highly precarious position. We fully understand the followers who are angry and frustrated right now, asking, where are the films online? We are currently being extremely cautious in selecting a new distribution partner. We are committed to finding a platform that is not just financially sound, but one that respects the integrity of the Missing 411 investigations and will not attempt to censor or sideline the unexplained elements of our research. The safety of our content is paramount. The fight to disseminate the truth isn't just happening in corporate boardrooms. It's happening on your screens. We've had to make a proactive move to safeguard our weekly factual news segments, pulling them off this platform entirely. We saw the digital landscape shifting, becoming increasingly restrictive and opaque regarding certain topics. That's why we migrated all our news reports to Rumble. You can find us there by searching for David Paulides' Presence Missing 411, the factual news. This move was essential to ensure we can continue to deliver unfiltered, fact-based reports without the looming threat of censorship or algorithmic suppression. We are posting excellent numbers there, and we urge everyone to join us where the truth is free to breathe. Even remaining on this platform, out of loyalty to our dedicated subscribers, has become a continuous digital battle. For years, we have received zero coherent explanation from YouTube regarding the rampant, chronic issue of users being mysteriously unsubscribed. We've gone to the extreme of having former YouTube experts analyze our data, and their conclusion is chilling. We are likely running over 1 million subscribers, yet we are only officially credited with a mere fraction of that number. This discrepancy, this deliberate throttling of our true reach, is not an accident. It is a clear attempt to suppress the momentum of the missing 411 phenomenon, keeping our numbers and our essential advertising revenue artificially low, hindering our ability to grow and fund future research. To understand the nature of the threat in the wilderness, we must embrace the full spectrum of the unexplained. This year, we clustered key presentations, starting with the Montauk Conference. A pivotal moment was the appearance of Scott Nelson, a former Navy linguistics expert with 30 years of service. Scott applied his highly specialized training in decoding communication intercepts to the infamous Sierra sounds, the mysterious guttural audio captured by Ron Moorhead. Scott's analysis was absolutely breathtaking, demonstrating complex syllabic structure and cadence. It wasn't just a noise. It was an attempt at communication from a highly intelligent, non-human entity operating in the same wilderness where so many missing 411 cases occur. This linguistic proof provides a horrifying new layer to the cryptid connection. Following Scott Nelson, we had the honor of hearing from Ron Moorhead himself, who took the discussion into the realm of the theoretical and the quantum. Ron's presentation theorized that the creature we commonly call Bigfoot may not operate entirely within our familiar three-dimensional reality. Drawing on concepts from quantum science, he proposed that this entity or entities may possess the capability to exist, at least partially, on a different dimensional plane. This ability would logically explain why they are so rarely seen, why they can evade expert trackers, and why they leave no physical evidence in their wake. This hypothesis is crucial, as it provides a framework for how a person could instantly and completely vanish from our reality. The testimony that truly binds the physical and the paranormal comes from Jonathan Dober, a Navajo ranger and respected law enforcement officer with over 3 decades of service. His career took an unbelievable turn when his supervisor gave him a permanent, specialized assignment: investigate and report on Bigfoot and UFOs within the tribal lands. This wasn't a voluntary side project. It was an official mandate. The things he and his partner encountered, the unexplained occurrences, the sudden vanishing of evidence, are the exact reason the missing 411 cases defy traditional police methodology. Dober's credibility is unimpeachable, and his stories confirm that at least one official agency has long known about the reality of the phenomena. The experiences shared by Jonathan Dober echo the crucial, early testimony I received from the Hoopa people when I first began my investigation over a decade ago. These honest, good people in Northern California told me a shocking truth. They regularly witnessed both Bigfoot and UFOs operating in tandem, often in the same remote geographical areas. This wasn't a story. It was their everyday reality. What's chilling is that this area is geographically removed from the famous Patterson-Gimlin film site, yet the phenomena are consistent. This suggests a pattern, not a fluke. The Hoopa were instrumental in teaching me that these two categories of high strangeness are not isolated events. They are linked, forming a unified, predatory threat in the wilderness. The combination of the Sierra sounds, quantum theory, and Native American law enforcement testimony points to an inescapable conclusion that we have to seriously consider. The mechanism behind these highly specific, completely clean disappearances, the ones with no struggle, no evidence, and no logical explanation, is not simply a terrestrial creature or human malice. It is a force that uses or is a dimensional rift. This rift, whether a natural geographical anomaly, a pocket of manipulated space-time, or an energy conduit utilized by an alien intelligence, has the power to extract a victim from our dimension instantaneously. This horrifying capability is the only theory that accounts for the speed, cleanliness, and baffling lack of evidence in so many of our missing 411 cases. Our work in documenting disappearances in national parks, from the cold ranges of Rocky Mountain to the harsh desert of Joshua Tree, is constantly undermined by the media. We've seen documentaries on major channels hire so-called experts who parrot scripts that are factually baseless. These talking heads are paid to sensationalize and promote narratives that we know are untrue, often twisting the facts of genuine, missing 411 cases. We consistently turn down these offers because they want us to compromise the truth. This is why we created our own documentaries, to bypass the sensationalism and deliver the unvarnished facts. True research means fieldwork, not reading someone else's book and calling yourself an expert. The pattern extends into specific subgroups that defy logic. We dedicated several intensive segments to the mystery of the missing trail runners. These are people in peak physical condition, highly experienced in their terrain, yet they vanish completely mid-run, particularly in areas like western Colorado. The circumstances are eerily uniform. The runner is gone without a struggle, often leaving no trail, just yards from a clearly marked path. This is not a simple accident or a fall. These are not people who get lost easily. Their disappearances possess the clear signature of a rapid, efficient extraction, a pattern too consistent to be random, suggesting a persistent, predatory force targeting the physically fit and the swift. Just as inexplicable are the cases of the missing truckers, a fascinating and disturbing cluster we covered in 14 detailed sessions. These are seasoned, resourceful professionals, often vanishing from remote truck stops, rest areas, or pull-offs under some of the most bizarre circumstances imaginable. They disappear from their cab while resting or vanish after stepping out for just a moment. The suddenness and the completeness of the vanishing, leaving behind their truck, their wallet, and their belongings, is the critical link. Whether it's a trail runner in a national forest or a trucker on a remote highway, the mechanism of the disappearance appears to be the same, a rapid, inexplicable transition out of our reality. To further support the UFO connection, we must recall the Pat McGuire case. Pat, a man living in Wyoming, experienced a series of intense, repeated UFO encounters on his remote property in the 1960s and 70s. What makes this case so vital is the corroboration. A production crew from Los Angeles, upon hearing the story, traveled to his property to film, and they actually captured the objects on film. The cameraman later contacted me, confirming that the footage was real and that the objects were intelligently controlled. This solid evidence, captured by an external source, proves that the phenomenon is physically real and has been interacting with remote locations for decades. The location of these sightings often corresponds to areas with high missing 411 incidents. The truth is also known within the highest echelons of government. We had a vital interview with John Duza, a retired FBI agent whose early casework reportedly inspired the first season of The X-Files. John speaks from a position of absolute, unimpeachable credibility, a quality rare in the world of the unexplained. He is filled with information that high-level government agencies certainly would prefer to remain classified. His willingness to speak candidly about events the FBI documented confirms that the phenomenon is not new, not isolated, and has been a concern for decades. His testimony adds a necessary layer of official validation to the seemingly incredible events we document in the missing 411 files. I am often asked why I refuse to visit Skinwalker Ranch, the epicenter of high strangeness. The reason is simple, chilling, and rooted in personal experience. I have spoken directly with multiple individuals who have worked on the property, and they confirm the existence of the parasitic phenomenon known as the hitchhiker. This entity, this residual energy, or whatever force is at work there, can attach itself to a person and follow them home. But here is the critical, terrifying detail. The hitchhiker rarely bothers the researcher. It targets their family, the spouse, the children. The thought of exposing my family, my friends, to that kind of predatory paranormal transfer is an absolute non-starter. No interview, no piece of evidence is worth that devastating risk. The reality of the missing 411 cases forces us to look beyond conventional explanations. We have assembled a body of evidence that points to an unknown force operating in the remote areas of North America and beyond. Whether it's the linguistic proof from the Sierra Sounds, the quantum theories, the law enforcement testimony, or the frightening hitchhiker phenomenon, the facts coalesce around a single idea. There is a predatory, intelligent, and non-human entity capable of manipulating reality. This is not about scary stories. This is about forensic analysis of inexplicable missing persons reports that share a common, horrifying, and unacknowledged causality. This year brought significant personal loss, which impacted the research deeply. We honored the passing of my best friend and closest collaborator, Scott Carpenter. Scott was a central figure in our Bigfoot investigations for years, a credible, kind, and honest person whose commitment to the truth was unwavering. His absence is felt every day in this work. Scott's integrity was a crucial counterbalance to the sensationalism often found in this field. We dedicated a special segment to his memory, a tribute to the man who exemplified how a good, honest person can tackle the world's most baffling mysteries with dignity and respect. His son, Travis, carries on that legacy, and we continue to communicate, honoring Scott's commitment. It is rare in the current political climate to find individuals you can trust absolutely, but we were honored to interview Congressman Tim Burchett of Tennessee. Tim is one of the few politicians I have encountered whose sincerity and commitment to the truth are absolute. He was a primary force in Congress pushing the U.S. government to declassify and divulge everything it knows about UFOs and the unexplained phenomena. We filmed with him and his family in Tennessee, and they were truly wonderful, down-to-earth people. His insider perspective confirms the reality of the government's knowledge and cover-up regarding these aerial phenomena, adding crucial weight to the extraterrestrial component of the missing 411 connection. To anchor the discussion in systematic research, we produced the immensely successful Bigfoot 101 classes, 20 detailed sessions that map out the entire history and evidence of the phenomenon. The response was overwhelmingly positive, proving that our audience craves structured, academic analysis, not mere conjecture. I meticulously planned these classes, starting from my initial eye-opening experiences on the Hoopa Reservation and detailing everything I have learned since. This commitment to education is vital because the more knowledge we share, the harder it becomes for the mainstream narrative to ignore the existence of these creatures and their possible link to the disappearances. As the missing 411 cases become more widely known, we receive questions about global applicability. People ask about cases in Germany, Mexico, Finland, and Canada. While I have absolutely no doubt that the phenomena and the pattern extend beyond North America, because the laws of physics are global, language barriers and the difficulty of finding credible, neutral investigators on the ground make documentation incredibly challenging. Unless someone is actively forwarding credible, deeply researched information to us, those cases often remain beyond our scope. We are eager to explore cases from Finland, Sweden, Brazil, and Mexico, but the research must maintain the same high, verifiable standards we apply in North America. It's an unfortunate truth that success breeds imitation, and we are now seeing new channels pop up, creating videos about missing truckers and other subgroups that we first identified and researched. The frustrating part is the intellectual dishonesty. They're watching our work and repeating the patterns and case facts without giving any credit. It's a sad reality, but we can fight back. If you happen upon one of these copycat sites, I encourage you to leave a polite post in the comments with a link directly to one of our original factual trucking videos. It's a way to redirect attention back to the source of the honest, original research and to ensure the credit goes where it is due. I cannot overstate how much your consistent support means to the continuity of this work. The algorithms that govern video distribution are unforgiving, and they prioritize engagement. To survive this corporate and digital siege, we need your views. If you're doing housework, cleaning, cooking, or just multitasking, please put our video on and let it play. The longer the videos are watched, the better it boosts our visibility in the algorithm, and the more likely we are to reach new people who need to hear the truth about missing 411. Your sustained watch time is literally a vote to keep the investigation funded and operational. We are relentless in pushing YouTube for an official, transparent answer regarding the mass unsubscribing of our followers. I have my personal, highly skeptical feelings about why this is happening, that it's a deliberate attempt to suppress our numbers, but we demand a public stance from the platform itself. In just the last week, we've had multiple followers state that they have to resubscribe multiple times simply to keep following the channel. Why are they doing this? The lack of accountability is disturbing. Until we get a satisfactory answer, we will continue to highlight this digital sabotage at every opportunity. The future of the missing 411 documentaries hangs in the balance, solely due to the corporate theft of our intended funding. I don't yet know if I can or will produce another film in the immediate future, as the cost is substantial and the capital is currently gone. We are actively exploring several unconventional funding options and new production partnerships that will guarantee us the creative and financial control we need. We are committed to making the next film, but we must proceed with extreme caution to ensure no one can hijack the revenue or the message again. The truth deserves a film of the highest quality, and we will wait until we can guarantee that standard. I want to reassure every single person watching that this channel is a safe haven for discussion. You can express any opinion, raise any theory, or share any personal experience you have regarding the unexplained, and you will be treated with respect. That is my promise. I personally monitor the comments, and if I see anyone attacking, harassing, or showing gross disrespect to any other follower, they will be instantly and permanently removed. We are here to exchange ideas and pursue the truth politely. We have built a community founded on mutual respect, and we will protect that community fiercely against any kind of online toxicity. We start this new year with a renewed sense of purpose, fueled by your unwavering support. The sun will rise tomorrow, and the search for the missing will continue. Thank you to everyone who has watched, subscribed, and supported the factual research of missing 411. We ask you to continue to be safe out there in the world, and please take a moment to do something genuinely kind for someone else. Your decency is our strength. We will be back very soon with another deep dive into the unexplained corners of the globe.